Good morning, everyone. My name is 𝗘𝗃𝗲𝗿𝗀, and today we are going to discuss adverse events and serious adverse events in clinical research, its and case studies. So, before starting our insightful session, let me. I am 𝗘𝗃𝗲𝗿𝗀, and I am working as an associate director for the GXP services at Zenovel. So, here my responsibility is to take care of all the GXP services that we are delivering to our client. And I'm having more than 20 years of experience in the field of clinical research as well as the preclinical services as well as the clinical services. Let me introduce my organization, Zenovel. So, what is Zenovel? So, Zenovel, we are providing end-to-end services for like monitoring and auditing of the different companies. We are having like end-to-end services means from the drug discovery. So we are providing services for the preclinical research. Then for the all kind of clinical trials, we are providing our service for like supporting client through our monitoring service, as well as we are doing auditing different facilities, preclinical as well as the clinical facilities. Also, we are giving services for the clinical research, where we are providing service for the BA/BE services, and after that, we are providing service for the regulatory services. And in the other hand, providing service for the GMP. If like requirement is there for the like preparation, any FDA or other regulatory plant, we are also providing our services. And for like preparation of any therapy to introduce Kawyanjali, who is in the clinical research. So hand over to Kawyanjali.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good morning. So my name is Kawyanjali, and I have over 15 years of experience in clinical. And I have handled phase 1 to phase 4 studies, as well as I'm involved in the patient-based behavior study. So since last 3 years, I have been involved in the auditing and the monitoring services. And today we are going to discuss regarding the adverse event and serious adverse event in the clinical research. And I will provide my insight with my such a long research career, and I will give some case studies also regarding this. So let's start with the definition first. So, Mr. Ketal, can
Without wasting the time, let's full session on the adverse event. Sorry for the interruption. Like we have some problem. Stay tuned with us. We are having some technical problem. We are really sorry for the interruption. Okay, let's start with our session. So, generally, in the clinical research, the adverse event is a very important as well as the critical point. And if it is not taken care properly, it can be a major issue. Sometimes, like because of serious adverse event, we have to stop entire clinical trial. So today we are going to discuss about like what is the different definitions, what is medical event, what is adverse event, what is serious adverse event, and what is SUSAR. And as we know that like people are very confused between serious adverse event and SUSAR. So today our try is to give a proper definition and how to like identify different adverse events. Okay, let's start. Sorry, again, we are facing some challenges with the internet. We are sorry for that. Okay, let's start. I think now we will not have any concern. So let's start with the definition. And as we have already discussed about like a different terminology, like medical event, adverse event, serious adverse event, and SUSAR. So let's start like discussing one by one. So what is medical event? So medical event is any unfavorable medical occurrence in the trial participants before dosing to any patient. It means if we are having patient is having any like headache or maybe some other concern before dosing, it can be considered as a medical event. The next is what is adverse event. So the definition as per the guideline, the adverse event is any unfavorable medical occurrence in a trial participants. But the adverse events does not necessarily have any causal relationship with the treatment. For example, like headache, nausea, and rust is the example of adverse event. Now, the most important is what is serious adverse event. So, as per the ICH guideline, the definition of the serious adverse event is any unfavorable medical occurrence that is considered serious at any dose if it is results in death, if it is life threatening, requires inpatient hospitalization or prolongation of existing hospitalization, results in the persistence or significant disability, incapability, and it is a congenital anomaly or birth defect, and it is defined in the. The most important part is when we any serious adverse event, we have to or we must to report it promptly. So if we see the difference between the AE and SAE in terms of its severity, reporting time, and impact. So generally, severity for the AE is mild to moderate, whereas SAE is severe. So that's why it is very important to take care about SAE, considering very critical, and we have to take action immediately. Reporting time is for the AE is periodically, whereas for the SAE that we have already discussed within 24 to 48 hours. Impact is for the AE is often transient, whereas for the SAE, so potential long-term impact or maybe sometimes very serious impact is there. And these are the regulatory guidelines. It talks about the adverse event and serious adverse events. So main guideline that we are following is ICH GCP E6R3. Also, it is defined in US FDA 21 CFR Part 312.32, EMEA guideline on the good pharmacovigilance practices, and it is recently defined in New Drug City Rule 2019. So now we will understand what is the ICH GCP requirement in case of adverse event and serious adverse event. So if we talk about safety reporting for the adverse event, it should be reported to the sponsor. So the next question is how we have to report. So according to the reporting requirements, or also like if we have defined in the protocol, we have to follow our protocol or maybe SOP. And the second is safety reporting for the serious adverse event. So it should be immediately reported to the sponsor or regulatory or IAC. And for this, we have to follow the regulatory guidelines that are talking about the serious adverse event. So this guideline define the type and duration of the follow-up of participants after adverse event in the protocol, and how we have to take care about the patient's medical care during a trial. During and following participation in a trial, the investigator or institution should ensure that adequate medical care is provided to the participants for any adverse event. And next part is documentation. So when we are facing any AE or SAE, it is very important to preserve all the documents. So documents like notification by the ongoing investigator to the sponsor of the serious adverse event and related reports whenever it is required, notification by the sponsor and or investigator whenever required. Sponsor should inform regulatory authorities and IRBs, IECs for the suspected unexpected serious adverse event as well as the serious adverse event, or if there is any other safety information that should be required during the trial. Now we are going to discuss about the SUSAR. So generally in routine practice, it is very difficult sometimes to identify serious adverse event versus the SUSAR. So let's discuss what is the difference that like differentiate SUSAR and serious adverse event. So SUSAR means suspected unexpected serious adverse reaction. So SUSAR is a serious adverse reactions that is both. First is suspected. Suspected means there is a reasonable possibility that the drug caused the event, and unexpected. The nature and the severity of the reaction is not consistent with the current investigator browser or the product labeling. So if we see SUSAR is nothing but SAE plus related to drug plus unexpected. So for the better understanding, let's discuss one example for the better clarity. So here one example is provided of one pharmaceutical company which is testing a drug. Here we have not provided a name of drug. We have represented it is AAA for treating early stage Alzheimer's disease. Known side effects include fatigue. So adverse event occur is one participant suddenly develops a severe liver failure after 2 weeks of treatment and hospitalized in intensive care, and the liver failure is potentially life threatening. So this is the adverse event. So if we evaluate this adverse event, so it is serious. Yes, it is serious because it is resulted in the hospitalization and was a life threatening. And it is related to the drug. Yes, it is related to drug. The investigators and sponsor both suspect the drug could be the cause because there is no other clear indication or the explanation that can prove that it is not related to drug. If we are asking such kind of questions to ourselves, we can easily identify whether it is a SUSA or it is a serious adverse event. So, conclusion for this example is it is yes, definitely it is a SUSA because the liver failure was serious adverse event, was suspected to be drug related, as was unexpected based on the current safety information provided in the investigation browser. So it qualifies as a SUSA and must be reported quickly to the regulatory authorities and the ethics committee. So this is all about the like definition of all the terminologies that we are using in case of the adverse event. So now, like I have one questions to Kawyanjali, that do we have the update in the investigation browser upon notice of the SUSA?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ketal, for this question. So actually, this SUSAR when the SUSAR is reported in the study, ongoing study. So this is reported to the pharmacovigilance team and as well as the medical monitor. So they decide what is the severity and the what is the causality of this SUSAR with the investigational drug. So as per their reference, they can update investigator version in further studies, and this is already notified to regulatory body. So it is not necessary to update immediately for the investigator version. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Kawyanjali, for providing this information, because like generally we are not having this information in any guidance. Next question to you is when should site staff begin collecting the adverse event information based on your experience?
So generally, this adverse event collection is started uh, just after the informed consent has been signed. So after the informed consent has been signed, we can start collecting the adverse event, and uh, site staff should begin collecting adverse event information as soon as the study participant has signed the informed consent. So, what is the regulatory requirement? So, I will tell about the key points regarding this. So, it is mandated that any adverse event occurring after a participant has consented and before the end of their study involvement must be documented. And what is the safety monitoring? So, safety monitoring starts at the time of consent, even if the investigational product has not yet been administered. And for the baseline data, collection may help distinguish between the existing condition and for the new or the worsening event is happening during the study.
Yeah, thank you, Kawyanjali, for providing this. So I want to understand how long should one collect the adverse event after the subject completes the study treatment. So what is the like general like timeline that we have to taken care?
Yeah, thank you for this question. So there is no such rule, but as general practice, we can uh, take a follow-up 3 days from the post treatment, and for the adverse event, we can take the follow-up up to 90 days indefinitely. Like whenever it is resolved, we can stop the taking follow-up. So because the follow-up during the serious adverse event is a most crucial point because it is related to the patient safety and as well as the drug safety. So it impacts the drug safety. So it is important. So if we see the serious adverse event, even after the routine follow-up window, uh, investigational products are typically required to report like any adverse event during that window period, and it is to be updated to the related to the study drug, whether it is related to the study drug or not. We have to inform the related agency. So for the protocol and the sponsor requirement, I will tell regarding this. So the study protocol it will specify the and what is the follow-up duration for that particular week. If it is related to the study drug, then it should be the sponsor regulatory agency for their guidance. Also, we can follow up with the patient for their sake, and we can also include this to the as per the institutional policies. We can also follow up with the subject. So now the summary is AE collection typically continues for 30 to 90 days after the last treatment. SAEs related to the drug must be reported indefinitely or as specified by the sponsor or in the protocol. Thank you.
Thank you, Kawyanjali, for giving us brief detail about how to handle the AE and SAE. And yes, sometimes when like we have adverse event, it can be like reported like 30 days and 90 days as you have discussed. But yes, serious adverse event, yes, we have to report within the 24 to 48 hours. So as per the guideline, like sponsor has to take responsibility for all the AEs and SAs. But here, like we have practiced that sponsors are giving all the trials to the third party CROs. So to understand what is the responsibility of the sponsor and what is the responsibility of CRO, as because in the guideline it is defined, it's all sponsor responsibility. So I want to understand as per our sponsor CRO communication, what is the exact sponsor's responsibility to manage the SAE?
Yeah, correct. As you say, this is the very important responsibility under the sponsor. So there is a SAE for the SAE evaluation. First, they have to assess the seriousness, expectedness, and the causality of the event, and when they have to determine that whether it is a SUSAR or not. So for the regulatory reporting, report SAE and SUSAR to regulatory authorities like FDA, EMA, DCJ, whatever submission they are investigational product, and they have to inform the ethics committee as well as the all the investigators and the head of the institution where the trial is conducting. So next is so now we will talk about the safety oversight. So ensure continuous monitoring of safety data and convene a data safety monitoring board if applicable, like the DSMB board is, they have to form the DSMB board and they have certain timelines to discuss regarding the AE and SAEs in the ongoing studies, and to update the investigator brochure and protocol if it is required. So next one is the what they can how they can support the investigator. So they have to provide the guidance for SAE documentation and reporting, and they have to provide updated safety information and training whenever needed. Because regarding this safety training, it is very important at the site level. So they are not aware of the reporting timelines. So it is very important to follow the reporting timelines. So now I will tell about some documentation. So how sponsor has to document. So they have to maintain the detailed SAE records and ensure the compliance with regulatory audit and the inspections.
Yeah, thank you, Kawyanjali, for providing the detail about this. Yes, as per the guideline, sponsor is overall responsible. See, CRO is also doing the study, but overall responsibility is sponsor responsibility. If anything happens, then sponsor is answerable every time to the regulatory authorities. So let's now discuss what is the CRO's responsibility. that we are doing day and day uh, activities.
Yeah. So CRO responsibility is SAE management. So that is also very crucial because they are directly involved in the site management. So first one is how to process the SAE. So uh, they have to collect and manage SAE reports from investigational sites, and they have to perform the medical review and ensure completeness and accuracy of SAE reports. So regarding the reporting support, they have to assist sponsor in the preparation and submission of safety reports to the regulatory agency, and to ensure reporting is within required timelines. So earlier, already we have discussed regarding the timeline. So it is very important. So for the safety database management, they have to enter the SE data into pharmacovigilance or clinical safety database, and in certain studies they generate the COMs forms for forms and the 𝗏𝗏𝗏 forms as needed and as required in the study. So the next point is communication. So how they will communicate regarding this SAE and AE from the side, like with the sponsor, regulatory agency, all the responsible association. So to facilitate communication between sites, sponsor and regulatory authorities, CRO has the main role. So they have to ensure the investigators are informed of any updated safety signals. If there is any safety updates, they have to inform the investigator, and they have to modify the protocol related to the safety management. So now next one is the training and audit. So it is the CRO's responsibility to provide the training to the site and team regarding the SAE handling, how to handle the SAE, and participate in the safety audits and ensure corrective actions that is to be implemented. So to summarize these safety reporting timelines, so these are the to differentiate between sponsor and CRO. We can tell that there are SAE review and like causality assessment, that then sponsor has the responsibility to do this, and CRO may advise in that. So regarding regulatory reporting, it is the responsibility of sponsor, and regarding safety data oversight, yes, it is also a responsibility of sponsor, and even the safety data and management, this is the particularly responsibility of CRO, and the communication and documentation and archiving. So for this, sponsor is the so they has the sole responsibility for this.
Okay. Thank you, Kawyanjali, for providing us information about what is the sponsor's responsibility as well as the CRO responsibility. So till now, we have discussed what is the definition, what is the timeline, and what is the responsibility of sponsor as well as CRO. So now we want to understand from you what is the step-by-step process for handling of AEs and SAEs in detail.
Yeah, for handling the SAE AEs, uh, first question arises, uh, who will uh, who will involve in this, and how they will do, and when it is to be done. So for the answer of who, that means who is responsible for this SAE collection, site staff, investigator, or the participant themselves. They can report any AE or SAE during the investigational study. So how? Now the question is how they will report this. So it is through the either through the physical examination, lab results, any we can check the lab results whether it is within normal range or not during the study, and the interviews with the participants or their relatives, and through the spontaneous report. So we can also have a patient ID so that they can note down the any adverse event if they face during the study. So when they should collect these information. So starting from the informed consent to the end of the study, they have to follow up all the safety reports to the investigators. So now coming to the documentation. So how to record all the AEs and SAEs. So in source documents, it is the like a patient chart or visit notes, prescriptions. In any form, we can have this recorded uh, information of all the AEs and SAEs. And after the source documents, it comes to the case report form, which is accessible to the sponsor and the CROs. So all these data has to be captured in the electronic system. And what exactly we have to document in the AEs and SAEs. So as per SAEs guideline, so we have to include the description of the event, what is the onset duration, like, so that we can report it in within the reporting guidelines timelines, and what is the resolution date and time. So what is the severity, that is the important, whether it is a mild, moderate or severe, so that we can relate with the investigational product. How what is the relationship to investigational product, like whether it is related, or then what actions would be taken with the study treatment. So whether dose should be stopped or it should be reduced, or it should be delayed, and what are the outcome of these assays, whether it is resolved or ongoing, or any fatal reaction has been occurred. So these documentation are very important. So next, coming to the assessment part. So as it is an SAE, which in any of the following cases, like if any AE results in the death, or it is a life-threatening, or it requires inpatient hospitalization or prolongation of existing hospitalization, and which results in persistent or significant disability or incapacity, or if it is a congenital anomaly or birth defect, then it falls under the SAE. So this all we already have discussed in this session. So how to assess this causality? This investigator judges if this AE or SAE is related to the study drug or not. So after assessment, it comes to the reporting. So how to report these AE and SAE? So typically, AEs are reported within the ADC during routine data entry when we have already collected in the source, and then we can have these information in the ADC, and what is the SAE reporting. So it must be reported to the sponsor within 24 hours of awareness, and generally this sponsor provide SAE report forms or electronic system to the investigational site so that they can uh, uh, immediately report all the SAEs to the sponsor. And additional reporting is to the ethics committee who has given the approval for this protocol and the study. So, and the regulatory, obviously, the regulatory agencies, uh, they have to report them. So now comes to the timeline, when to start this reporting. So what is the criteria to the whether it is a routine reporting or it is expedited reporting, whether there is a potential issues, reporting issues, what are the consequences of improper reporting if it is not reported properly, what it can affect the patient safety. So for reporting serious events, 21 CFR 312.64 is there. So as per these guidelines, we can report these SAEs, and investigators must promptly report to the sponsor any adverse effect that may reasonably be regarded as caused by or probably caused by the drug. And if the adverse effect is alarming, the investigator shall report to the adverse effect immediately. So serious adverse events, the reporting must be done without delay and often within the 24 hours of learning of the event. So now next one is what is medical DRA coding. So it is related to the regulatory activities. It is kind of a medical dictionary. It is a standardized medical terminology used to code all the aids. So this is used by all the sponsors during the investigation trials, and it ensures a consistent classification on regulatory compliance. And coding is performed using 𝗏DRA compatible software like Oracle, Argus. There is a Viva Vault also for this. So now coming to the reporting criteria. So it should be what is the whether it is a routine reporting or the expedited reporting. So in the routine reporting, you have to know which event can be reported at interim analysis or the annual reviews. And for the expedited reporting, know which event require immediate reporting. Like if it is a life-threatening case, you have to expedite the reporting for the benefit of the subject, for the safety of the subject. So next is what are the issues during the reporting. So whenever there is a primary events, like for example, if the patient is admitted with the congestive heart failure and subsequently develops pulmonary edema and cardiogenic shock. So what happens in this case? If there is an improper reporting, then the consequences can lead to protocol violation. IRB can close this protocol. Then FDA can hold the study. Sponsor can hold the study. Then research privilege can be revoked for that particular investigator or that particular site. There is a impact patient safety if it is improperly reported. So now coming to the reporting timelines for the SAE. So responsibility of the investigator to inform within 24 hours of occurrence to the sponsor and the regulatory body as well as the ethics committee. And after the SAE events have been occurred, then the analysis should be done within the 14 calendar days, and it should be reported to the head of the institution, DCGI or regulatory agency, and the ethics committee. So so now after the this SAE has been reported, then DCGI issues order for compensation within 90 days of the receipt of the report to the sponsor, and the compensation has to be paid within 13 calendar days of the receipt of the order. So reporting to expert committee, if it is reported to the expert committee, then only applicable. It is only applicable in the case of SAE of death, and the expert committee is appointed by the DCGI. So they will equally contribute to have a insight on how to compensate for that particular SAE. So compensation that is as per new city rule, the compensation is calculated on the basis of formula in which the base amount is multiplied by the factor depending on the age of the trial subject, and it is multiplied by the risk factor depending on the seriousness and severity of the disease and the presence of any comorbidity or duration of disease of the trial subject, and it is divided by the 99.37. It is the ratio. So as per these calculation, compensation is to be given to the affected subject or their relatives. So about the follow-up, the site or the investigational site has to gather any missing information, like if there is any lab investigation has been done or any diagnostic has been done, or a physician note is there. So they have to update the event status until it is resolved or stabilized, and report any changes in severity or outcome or causality. They have to follow up for this also. So whether this severity has been changed, or what is the outcome, whether it is resolved or it is ongoing. So for this, the follow up is very important. So who will review this safety data? So the prime responsibility is for the sponsor side medical monitor. They review along with the pharmacovigilance team, and they form one DSMB body, which is Data Safety Monitoring Board, and they decide whether this SAE is important or not important, and then they inform these to regulatory agencies via safety reports. So, discussing all these points uh, during the protocol. Uh,
Yes, it
there
is,
is a,
yes, you are right. Like for the safety management plan is very important because to like having SAE or any adverse event, if we prepare a safety plan, then it is good like to avoid any AE and SAE. So can you please explain about what is the safety management plan and how to prepare it?
yeah, sure. So, to ensure the safety of all the trial participants, there should be a safety management plan beforehand, and AE and SAE, which is occurring during a clinical trial, should be recorded and reported as per this safety management plan. And this safety management plan is developed during the setup of stage of the trial, and this should be aligned with the type of trial, like which type of trial you are going to conduct. This safety management plan is very important. So, what are the key components of safety management plan? That is the next question. So, what is the roles and responsibilities? Who will collect these data, and processing and data entry of ENSA? Who will do data entry? Like who will follow whose responsibility is to take the follow-up for this NSA causality assessment, the investigator, sponsor, or it is with the help of both. So now next one is this, how to report these safety procedures. Then how to prepare safety reports to submit in the regulatory agency, then implication for the monitoring team, what monitoring team has to see when they are going for the monitoring, and what is the compensation in case of any clinical trial related injury. So these are the main key components of the safety management plan. And for the final reporting, all AEs and SAEs are included in clinical study report and annual safety report, as well as the publication and the regulatory submission.
Thank you, Kawyanjali, for providing in very detail all the information. So we have started from how to identify AE and SAEs, then what is the procedure to report the AE and SAEs, then what should we have to do when there is a AE and SAE, and it's reporting to the different regulatory sponsor everything. So it's a very good information that we have discussed already. So now my next question. See, we know that E and SAs are handling in this way, but what are the checkpoints to review during the E and SA when we are facing uh, any A and SA during our clinical trial?
Yeah, actually, it is a very good regarding checkpoints. So we have to see that the drug, whether what are the event that the dose, whether the dose is the limiting factor for that particular event, and whether the dose has been reduced or should be reduced, or whether it has to be stopped. And if the research team realize that it is such a case, then whether it is identified correctly or not, then how these AEs are being recorded by the medical team, and how they are being recorded in the site. So whether these documentation include the grade, what is the onset time, resolution time, what is the attribution for these AE and SAEs, where all the toxicities have been included, and whether the proper CTC-AE version has been used for that particular term or not, as per the protocol, and whether these toxicities have been graded appropriately or not. So all these are the checkpoints to see the AE and SAE.
Right, Kawyanjali. See, when questions to the team who face the A in SA, so they uh, would result identification whether they have properly identified AE or SA. Thank you.
So now, which is regarding auditing. So how we are going to audit. So our adverse event appropriately reported within the time period required by the regulatory, by the sponsor, or by the IRB policy. So so what we have to review during the audit. So first one is the recognizing adverse event and serious adverse event. So that is the most crucial part. When sometimes I miss to report that this AE has been severity of the AE, so that impacts the safety of the patient. And inspection and finding related to the adverse event, then regulations related to the adverse event, and recording and the reporting of the adverse event, then auditing of the adverse event. So we have to check during the audit. So now, to better understand these AE and SAE, what we have discussed so far, we will start with the case study.
Yes, Kawyanjali. See, really discuss the case study. So discussing the case studies, we'll ideas how to identify and how to deal with the A's and most probably SA. So thank you for providing us detail about the case studies. Let's start discussing the case studies.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ketal. So when we discuss the case study, it will be very easy. It is an easy reference to understand the AE and SAE, how to manage that AE and SAE, how to report that within the required timelines. So first case I will discuss, that is it is a meningitis. So first question comes that what is the SAE event term? So generally the site confused regarding these terms. So how to term these SAEs? So in case of meningitis, it is a viral meningitis, and there is a one study going on with the indication of multiple sclerosis. So in this study, a 40-year-old female which has a relapsing remitting multiple sclerosis uh, comes with the uh, symptoms of viral meningitis and the urinary tract infection. So first we have to take the what was the past history, whether it is related to the past history or not. So it is very important to take the past history. So there was a no history of diabetes or hypertension in this case, and there was no allergy reported for this. So this she was enrolled in a study after the diagnosis and reported on the site 7 months later with a history of fever and chills, headache, and the 3 days of neck stiffness. So, as per these symptoms, she has been given a symptomatic treatment with anti-malarials, but the fever was not abated. So, then the diagnostic test has been done, like chest X-ray, ECG, routine blood examination, urine routine culture, and sensitivity has been done. So, subject admitted for further evaluation with persistent neck stiffness and the possibility of meningitis was considered, uh, and further evaluation was done. Like its CSF showed that there is a predominantly lymphocyte with mildly elevated protein and possibility of viral meningitis was considered. So this as a event term was established that it is a viral meningitis. So then also urine culture was positive for the E. coli. So antibiotics were given as per the sensitivity report, and later on patient was discharged and asked to stop all the medication related to this SAE, and this SAE was considered as the. So now I will give another case study to better understand how to the site has done the initial reporting, the final reporting, and how the report. To understand this, so in this case, SAE term was pneumonitis, and it was the grading was considered by the PI as third grade. So in an ongoing study, with indication was non-small cell lung cancer. So in this study, one 55-year-old female was enrolled in the study, and she has received the treatment for the 2 cycles. She has already received. The drug was therapy. So after the 2 cycles, this subject reported with the symptoms of shortness and breath, and followed by the hypotension. So immediately, PI has hospitalized this subject in the ICU setup and started with this symptomatic treatment. And this AE was established as a pneumonitis and grade 3. So, what was the prime responsibility of investigator? They have reported this SAE immediately to the sponsor, EC, as well as the regulatory agency within 24 hours of hospitalization. So, as this subject was already ongoing in the study, so they have fulfilled all the criteria of reporting guideline as well as the reporting of that SAE. So, regarding what is the regulatory requirement? So, grading, so they have already graded as a grade 3. What is the relationship with study drug? So, it was related to the study drug because the drug was immunomodulator, and in this case, pneumonitis can occur. So, now, regarding management of SAE, they have already treated this subject under the ICU setup, and regarding timeline fulfillment, they have informed this SAE within 24 hours of occurrence to all the required body like the sponsor, regulatory agency, and the ethics committee. So, to further discuss this scenario, next scenario, I will take the example of next scenario. Now, this subject was again they withdrew the consent after the treatment was going on. It was actually the SAE was not resolved, but that patient decided to withdraw the consent from the study and to leave the site. So they left the site, and final report was submitted as the SAE was resolved. So in this case, if you see that what is the drawback of that final report. So it was not resolved because of the subject has been withdrawn. She has withdrawn the consent and left without a complete treatment. So in this case, they have to take the follow-up with the patient until it is resolved. So without taking the follow-up, they have finalized the report as a result. So now the next question is about the patient safety. So they did not follow up the final status of SE, and so we can understand from this case study that it was the case. So, so proper follow up is important. So next scenario, I will take the same case to understand importance of reporting timeline. So patient relative reported patient's death after 1 month and provided death certificate to study site. And the actual death as per the death certificate was after 10 days of reporting SAE. So after the 10 days of SAE, death was reported, but the site missed to report this death to the sponsor, ethics committee, as well as the regulatory agency. So what we learned in this, what is the lesson learned? Site did not report about death to sponsor, AC, and regulatory within specified timelines. So, and they have the improper follow-up and the lack of awareness by the site person. So in this situation, we learned that reporting timeline is very important for the safety of the subjects and the ongoing studies, drug for the safety of the drug also. So awareness, even the training is very important.
Yeah, thank you, Kawyanjali, for providing us detailed case studies, 2 case studies. So definitely, these case studies will help all of us to identify AE and SAE, how to handle it, and if we are not handling properly, what will be the consequences that, as we have discussed, sometimes we have to stop the trial because of not properly reporting of the SAE. So next, let's discuss about what are the common pitfalls on the AE and SAE reporting. Uh, So that already we have discussed, delay in the reporting can lead to a like serious errors event, and we can like stop study in between. Incomplete documentation, same if we are having the incomplete documentation, then it will be very difficult to give details to the regulatory agencies. Then failure to assess the causality and poor communication with the sponsor and ethics committee can also lead a serious problem during the uh, identification of the AE and SAE. So, what are the risk mitigation strategies? So, we have to provide AE and SA training frequently to the team who are handling this kind of events. Early identification and intervention is required during the generally in case of the serious adverse event. Effective CFRs and EDC systems to be developed to document all the details, and sponsor should monitor and audit the events properly. So what are the best practices? So the best practices are keep accurate, timely, and complete records. Use standardized terminology that we have already discussed. 𝗦𝗲𝗘𝗀. Communicate with the clinical team regularly and review previous trial safety data to understand better. So overall summary is E and SE monitoring is very critical, and we have to take proper care during handling of the AE, SAE, and also SUSA. Timely and accurate reporting is essential to generate the proper data and handle it properly. And these two case studies which can help us to improve the vigilance and learning about the SAE and SUSA. So finally, I think we all understand in detail about the AE, SAE, and SUSA. So with this detailed webinar, I hope everyone understand, and it will definitely help during your day-to-day activity to handle the AE and SAEs, and to have like more information. Stay tuned with us because we are going to present more insightful sessions during next webinars. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for attending this webinar. And also, I am very thankful to Kawyanjali for providing us more and very informative details about the adverse events. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.